Hi Buckles! I became a machine learning engineer in 4 months without a degree. In this video, I want to share 3 habits I discovered along the way that accelerated my journey as a machine learning engineer. Engineers tend to fixate on the technologies, and sometimes we forget ourselves as humans. Unlike our products or crafts, we are emotional, unstable, and error-prone. Sometimes learning about how to manage yourself is more important than learning about the technology. By the end of this video, you will have more clarity on how to manage yourself and navigate through the enormous amount of information you will need to land your first job or become more productive as a machine learning engineer. If you are new here, I'm Moon, a machine learning engineer at Amazon. I spent 12 years as a biology student before pivoting my career into machine learning. Apparently, I'm a late starter. So if you just started your journey, I want to tell you, believe in yourself because you will get there. Now, let's jump into the 3 habits that make you more productive as a machine learning engineer. First, dive deep into the questions in your head. I used to see busy work as hard work. I set up this grandiose plan to learn a course or a book end-to-end inside out, so that I can feel closer to being an expert in this field. There's merit to studying systematically. It's similar to eating processed food. It makes digestion more effortless, but you don't want to live off it because you don't need every ingredient in it and you want to grow your ability to digest the raw information. I discovered that instead of aiming for a complete topic, studying sporadically and motivating yourself with a specific question is more efficient. When you think about hitting a high goal, you unconsciously pay more attention to how far away you are from your goal when you don't really know what it takes, because by definition you haven't got there yourself. Besides, you may also want to change your goal once you learn new information. If you set a straight and monumental goal from the beginning, you may get in your own way. Therefore, targeting something big or broad may set you up more for disappointment and frustration than enjoying and growing. In contrast, when led by a specific problem at hand or questions in your mind, your attention will stay organized and you will stay focused. Only then you can enjoy the excitement of learning and exploring. To have a deep grasp of a field, you need this process of taking it apart and building it up again. A specific question in your head is a thread that keeps the information organized for you during this process. Otherwise, it's quite impossible not to be overwhelmed and stressed out. I used to have multiple courses and books started but never finished them or just rushed to the end. However, when I just focus on a concrete question, how is a Harvard model different from the parameter solver model? Or how does a graph compiler work? How to downsize a model for inference when moving to edge device? I can keep my learning more manageable and retain the knowledge better. A question raised by yourself also holds you in this sweet spot of learning where it's not too challenging or too boring. Because when you discover a question on your own, you can't be out of your scope. Otherwise, you wouldn't be recognized in the first place. At the same time, it's intriguing because you just questioned it. We are not a machine. Our brains won't have an existing schema to digest, store, or retrieve the information when presented to us the first time. So global optimization or aiming for everything at once will most likely kill us. Instead, our brain is good at adapting because of neural plasticity. To leverage this, we need to ask interesting questions that drive the creation of new neuron connections. By the way, our brain makes over 1 million connections per second. Don't let them go random, guide them. Second, take daunting tasks heads on. When I started, I always avoided reading the documentation, reading the source code, or understanding the math formula. I found those tasks daunting, so I just avoided them. This bad habit sort of continued until I started working full-time and realized our team has literally hundreds of repos that I don't even know where to start to ask without reading the code. I blamed our seniors in my head for writing such convoluted code where all the variables and objects were passed around into nested classes and nested services, then passed back. Why would you do this? I had 5 repos and dozens of files open in my IDE just to trace the value of one variable. After that, I went above and beyond to fix these issues by suggesting our team that we need better documentation, better testing, and better debugging tools. 6 months later, it finally dawned on me that first, I didn't realize I needed to understand the history of the application, and second, I didn't know what to look for when approaching a new repo. A service or an application can be created for one reason and repurposed for another, just like how we evolve. When looking at a service, I should look for data model and how the major objects are held together. It perfectly matches our cognition pattern in the real world. The experiences are similar for other daunting tasks: setting up a new technology from scratch, writing doc for services that I'm unfamiliar with, admitting my mistakes in group meeting, or questioning the seniors. Each of them was scary, even stupid, until they didn't. I finally realized that growth is a process of desensitization. What made me painful in the beginning won't affect me later. To grow faster, I need to get those easy questions and easy tasks out of the picture faster through discussions and failures, so that the deeper questions and harder tasks can surface. That's when I started learning and making critical progress. If something was easy, it would have already been done, and it won't wait for me. Lastly, timebox yourself. In high-tech, there will be always more technologies coming out than you are able to follow. Having a strategy to filter out useful information for your problem is more important than mastering a given technology. The same is true for deliverable work. You may work on something for several days and suddenly realize that's not the best approach or most important thing to work on, but you have already lost those time, so it's cruciating to pull yourself out of it. The time we spend on one thing has its opportunity cost. This is not just a problem when you make big decisions, such as choosing your career direction as a data scientist, a DevOps, or a machine learning engineer. This dilemma will continue to exist. The more you know, the more choices you need to make. For me, I set up 30 minutes timer to check my work. Timebox yourself gives you several benefits. First, you can check your productivity in past 30 minutes by summarizing what you have done. Second, it forces you to zoom out and give you a fresher look at the work you are doing, and occasionally you get to ask better questions. Last, it makes you re-evaluate your priority based on the new information you just learned. That's the 3 habits I discovered to make myself more productive as a machine learning engineer. Deep dive into the questions you have, take the daunting tasks hands-on, and timebox yourself. Can you identify one action you can take to develop those productive habits? For example, you can set up 1-hour timer for yourself, or at least a daily review to check your productivity and where your time actually went. If you find this video helpful, you may also be interested in another video on how I became a machine learning engineer from a biology student. I also write about self-management, startup, and machine learning at moonmayue.com. If you are interested in any of those topics, please consider subscribe to this channel or the newsletter. You will get annoyed every time I publish a video or a blog. See you next time.